Good afternoon, everyone. This is Coach Matt with our Monday workout. Is our deadlift max out day. So we have a pretty long, drawn out warm up and then get to our deadlift heavy stuff. And then there's some options afterwards because for everybody in the gym, you need to understand you do not have to 1 rep max. You don't ever have to lift these like single 100% lifts ever again. You can continue getting stronger the rest of your life. You just have to go sometimes above 80% on each of the foundational lifts. And that's kind of a loose benchmark that we have for what needs to happen in order to create long-term strength, muscle mass, bone density, and all the other connective tissue and fascia adaptations that we know are so valuable from strength training. But if today is not the day for you, or if this 1 rep max is not the thing for you, then I want you to make sure that you go over that with coach and make a plan for yourself. And there are several Metcon options that involve heavy deadlifting, but also get your heart rate up a little bit if you're not feeling like doing the 1 rep max today. Okay, so with all that context, I'm just gonna go through the workout exactly as it's written, and then you can choose what you're gonna do with it on the day that you come in. So let's begin with the warm up, 4 minutes of warm up, pace cardio, and then you need a band and a light kettlebell. We're gonna do a couple rounds through some band Romanian deadlifts. So those are primarily to stretch out the hamstrings and the glutes and get your shoulders warmed up. So practice that shoulder tension and hinge from the hips without bending your knees very much. And then we can go right into band rows. So just some bent over rows. Again, warming up the shoulders, warming up everything in that posterior chain and the grip chain, the shoulders, that is going to sustain a heavy load in your hands today. Light windmills and then some kickstand deadlifts. So the windmill is a stagger stance hip hinge where I am pivoting down and then back up, and it does not matter how far you get down to the ground, but get that on both sides. If you can touch the ground, that's great. But again, it's similar to the Romanian deadlift in that my knees should not bend very much. It should be all coming from the hinging of my hips. You'll feel that in the groin on the front leg, the glute on the back leg. Then some kickstand deadlifts. So a similar stagger stance hip hinge, but this one is more linear. So the back foot is heel in the air, right? And I'm pushing primarily with the front leg, but I'm squeezing both glutes at the top when I stand tall. When you finish 2 rounds of that, then we're gonna go through, or get a barbell out, we're gonna go through a little every minute on the minute sequence that has some lifting in it. What we like to do is prime the nervous system by doing something lighter and more explosive, but still move a little bit of weight and in that pattern of the hip hinge. So we're gonna practice the power clean. So we got a little drill sequence that's gonna go minutes 1 through 4, and then a rest, and then some lifting sequence that's gonna go 6 through 9. All right, so the drill sequence is clean pull, panda pull, power clean. The panda pull is just a slight variation on the high pull. So the clean pull will go from the shins, jumping and shrugging, right? Keeping that bar tight to the body and practicing the momentum transfer from the hips to the hands. The panda pull, we're going to create upward momentum with that bar, but then kind of pull down to it, right? So it's up and practice immediately pulling down, right? So we are working on the pull under. We're just not going all the way to the elbows around, catching it in the front rack position, but try to pull yourself down to approximately where you would catch in the power position, but then you can just extend your arms right back down, all right? So it's a slight variation on the clean high pull, which is more of like a muscle clean variation. The last one will be 1 rep of the power clean, so that is from the ground, jump, pull, catch at the shoulders, and stand tall. When we get to the 5th minute, you're gonna rest. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, we're gonna go 3, 2, 2, 1 power cleans. And this should be, just think moderate load, like 50 to 65% of your 1 rep max, something that you can move quickly, that you're very confident with. There should be no risk of like fails or like tweaking your wrist or elbow or shoulder or anything on these. They should just be to prime the nervous system in that hinging pattern, right? When we finish with that, then we're gonna go into, and what's not written in SugarWOD is all of the deadlift warm-ups. So you should hit every 10% on the way up. And after you get to about 60, 65%, there should be no more multiple reps, okay? So if you wanna do 5 reps with the empty barbell and then 5 reps with 135 pounds, that's fine. But what I don't want you to do is do your percentage thresholds on the way up to a 1 rep max. So I don't want you to do 5 reps at 85%. I don't want you to do 3 reps at 90%. I don't want you to do 2 reps at 95%. All of those should be 1 rep at a time, and then resting 2, 3, 4 minutes. And then at the very end, you could rest as long as like 5 or 6 minutes. And some people rest longer than that, some people rest shorter than that, but just recognize that your heart rate needs to be down for quite a while in order to recover from a single heavy effort that is in the like high 90s of percentages, all right? So that's kind of our strategy for maxing out, and the way that I like to do it is my first attempt will be slightly lower than what I know my max is. My second attempt will be where I try to kind of take a gamble, like, am I close? Should I go like 5 pounds over my old PR? What I would not do is just try to tie your old PR, because there's a certain number of reps that you have in your body on any given day, and if you spend one of those reps on something you have already done in the past, then that's less effort that you can put into another lift. So if you're planning on going heavier than your old PR, don't tie your existing PR. That's just my personal opinion. I know there are many different ways to approach it, right? When you're finished with the deadlifts, there are several Metcon options, or if you would like to do this instead of the heavy 1 rep max deadlift, any of these are fine. There's a short version, there's a longer version, there's one that's like very high intensity, and one that is more moderate, that it would be more appropriate for newer lifters and newer members, okay? So make sure you look at those, but they all involve deadlifts, they all involve biking, and one of them involves some push-ups. But the deadlifts are moderate weight, the biking is at your pace, right? So you can look at those things and determine which one. Do I feel like a longer, more cardio workout, or do I feel like a shorter duration, more anaerobic, high intensity workout when you're done with that, okay? So play that however you feel it, but whatever we do, pick up something heavy off the ground today, use great technique and enjoy it, all right? I'll see you guys on Tuesday.